We still do 7 NUFC Matters show a week for free. But if you want to help support NUFC Matters, then there are a few ways of doing it. Hit the like button on each live broadcast and video. This helps the channel grow. Hit the subscribe button and select the all notifications bell so you don't miss a single show. If you want to help us financially, then you can join the channel using this button with the membership starting at $1.99 a month. Or you can drop us a donation in the chat using a super sticker. We're also looking for sponsors. If you'd like your brand advertised on the flyers for the show and featured during the ad break, then email John at nufcmatters.com to arrange today. Welcome along to NUFC Matters. It is Rock and Rob's album review. Hiya, Rob. How are you?
Very well, Stephen. I hope you're well too.
I am, mate. Yeah, and let's make sure that the people out there know that we do listen to people's comments and suggestions. And there you go, Rob. You now have your own official flyer.
Oh, look at that! Look at that! I've made it. It's me.
Fantastic. So I'm afraid I've given away today's album, but you did mention it last week. So yes, you're going to take to the world of the Stone Roses, Rob. Oh, I've lost you there, Rob. Tell you what, Rob, while you sort your technical side out, I'll play the ads.
A big thanks to all our sponsors, Skips and Bins. You can find them at skipsandbins.com or telephone 0800 25 45 25 3. Email inquiries at skipsandbins.com. Website skipsandbins.com. Easy contract free and pay-as-you-go waste collection. Big thanks to Mr. Vicky's Sauces Handmade in Cumbria. You can order them from their website, mrvickys.co.uk, or by telephoning 01768 210 102. A big thanks also to New Workwear. You can find them at newworkwear.com. They're an agile and dedicated workwear provider. Welcome back as well to United Travel. They are a UK coaches firm and they are based in the Northeast. They've got 2024 tours and you can contact them on 01670 632 460 or mobile 0791 666 4174. Email info@unitedgrouptravel.com and they've got a website which is unitedgrouptravel.com. There's no strangers on their tours, just people you haven't met yet. Big thanks to them for their sponsorship. Big thanks as well to Media Arts, and they supply all the video technology. If you want to become a member and get a cup, a pen, a membership card, and a scarf, then get your smartphone and put it over this QR code. It will take you straight to the membership pack. It's a £25 one-off fee. You can also go to NUFC Matters website and search membership pack to book today. If you want to help the channel, then subscribe to it by hitting the subscribe button. Hit the thumb up under the video to like the video and click share to share to your other social media. We're also available as a podcast on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast providers. Don't forget, we help the food bank on this channel. If you want to do so virtually, go to nufcfansfoodbank.co.uk and make a donation today. The Alan Shearer raffle is back on. 150 tickets, £1 a ticket. Win a limited edition signed Alan Shearer ball. Enter today at nufcmatters.com.
I think the shock of the flyer made you freeze there, Rob. So we lost you, but we are back now. So yes, I was saying that we'd spoil it a little bit, but you did announce last week that you were going to do the Stone Roses.
I have indeed. Firstly, this is my 6-month anniversary of doing Rock and Rob's reviews, so thank you for everybody who watches, listens, likes and subscribes. If you could please continue to do so. It does really create my confidence, self-esteem, builds my channel. So I was in a charity shop in Dundee the other day, found these, 2 for £1, originals, when we had to go in physically hand over cash to buy music. The good old days. I sound like a dinosaur. But yeah, so this band formed in 1983, originally called The Waterfront. The first release was called So Young and Tell Me. It was a double A side. I listened to it and I remembered people at the time saying it's quite a goth band going about Stone Roses. I've never heard of them. And it was only recently I listened to this double A side, So Young and Tell Me. It very much like the Jesus and Mary chain. They always had an issue with keeping band members. And at this point as well, Ian Brown was getting his singing vocal coach lessons as well. I actually met Ian Brown once in Edinburgh, crossing the road. I just says, "Hi Ian, how you doing?" "All right." And he was he's playing the Corn Exchange in Edinburgh. So it didn't, it was just nice to see him, I suppose. Yeah, it was one of those things. So yeah, it was originally going to be called English Rose. They started in 1983 when Now That's What I Call Music 1 came out, and milk was 21 pence a pint. Yeah, so the called Stone Roses are a tribute to the Rolling Stones. I didn't really realise that the first single called Elephant Stone was produced by Peter Hook, who had to leave and go and record Republic, New Order. And if you look back in my archives, you'll see I've done a review on that album as well. So it was taken over by John Leckie, who also produced Pink Floyd Medal or Meadle. But people don't know how to say it, Meadle or Medal album, and an XTC sidetrack project called The Dukes of Stratosphere. Very trippy, psychedelic. Again, look back at my back catalogue, done an album by XTC called English Settlement. It's one of my favourite albums of all time. It's absolutely amazing. So on the cover, you've got your red, white and blue. And I don't know if this is attributed to Great Britain or France. The lemons are actually because there were student riots in 1968. The students used lemons to sort of like counteract the tear gas effects. So I didn't realise that. I always wondered what that was about. Rennie's bass drum skin, his bass head had the lemon on it. So that's what his very political statement. The cover as well, inspired by Jackson Pollock, which I got straight away. I actually, as a decorator, I actually done an open plan staircase once, and the customer wanted it Jackson Pollock on a wooden stair, open wide, but I'd done it, and it looked really, really good, really striking. So yeah, the first gig was 1984, and supporting Pete Townsend at his tour. So that was the first thing. That was the first gig they'd done. So you're opening with I Want to Be Adored, brilliant opening, bass intro. As soon as you hear the bass, you know what's coming next. It's like it's classic. Really good texture and guitar parts. Takes a couple of minutes for the song to kick in. When it does, it's brilliant. Rennie's drums are amazing, and I will have to give him credit. I used to not appreciate or respect indie drummers in a whole because they all seem to be doing the same style. But Rennie uses every drum in the kit. It's not just, I think a lot of the beats come from hip hop as well. Going back to NWA album I reviewed, a lot of the beats are very similar, but Rennie uses everything, every bit of his drums. Backing vocalist as well. I mean, who'd want a drumming in backing vocals as well, So yeah, it's an outstanding song, unique. I don't need to sell my soul, he's already in me. What a great line to sing. He's not the best singer, but he's very, very iconic and brings atmosphere and spirit to the songs, I feel. I mean, he's got that presence, as does Sean Ryder as well. Not the best singers, not the best frontmen, but what they bring to the band is they finalise it. They give everything. They give the spirit and atmosphere and the soul to the songs. Then you've got She Bangs the Drums. Great song, really uplifting song. I guess more of a solid rock indie song. Hi-hat opening on this in 1634s. The bass line that kicks in. As soon as the bass comes in, again, the guitar just kicks in. Really, really great song. Brilliant song. You've got Waterfall. It's another classic. I think this is more like jangly sort of 60s style, which I'm finding a lot with indie bands are heavily influenced by like the Byrds, the Kinks, Small Faces, a lot of these bands. But that's good. It's good to have influences that makes a band what they are to this day. Because this was released as a single. Again, Rennie's backing vocals on this are really, really good, really strong carries it well with Ian Brown. A weakest song for me is called Don't Stop. It's like a trippy psychedelic Waterfront, but played backwards. It's sort of Beatles-esque, weakest song on the album for me, but it's different. Again, John Leckie producing this Pink Floyd Meddle, when they were going through like psychedelic, like Relics album, that sort of early Pink Floyd stuff. But I'm not keen on that one. It's my weakest song on this album. Then Bye Bye Bad Man, top notch, upbeat, strong, really good moving song actually. It's political. It's about the student riots in 1968 in France. Really, really good song. I love the guitar part in it as well. It's like they all play individually, but yeah, it's put them in a bucket mix up. You've got Stone Roses. It's brilliant. I mean, you can just pick out individual parts. A lot of hooks in it. Stone Roses stuff with John Squire, absolutely brilliant. You've got Elizabeth, My Dear. It's a 2 minutes, a ballad song. It's actually an anti-monarchy song. It's quite a spooky song, not the greatest song on the album as we. It's sort of like a poetic fable sort of feel to it. But, I think there's a couple of songs that I think could have been B-sides. I think Don't Stop and Elizabeth, My Dear, I think would have been better B-sides. I mean, before they had their first album, they were hitting out songs. They had about 36 songs before they had this album out. So it'd be interesting to see if anything gets released, unearthed demos and sessions later to come. You've got Sugar Spun Sister, amazing song. Sounds like the Byrds again, influenced. A beautiful song, very melodic. I love the drumming on this again. I'm going to say that. The tribally drums, I like the tone of his drums, like how he tunes his drums. I pick all this out. He uses his cymbals well. It's just really awesome, really good drummer. Then Made of Stone, I think this is the first single of the album. It actually never charted, failed to chart, yet it's an indie dance classic. Iconic guitar opening, bass leads a song, definitely 100%. Really, really good vocal part in this, a massive chorus. It takes me back to sort of early goth days, sort of like 86, and the students, a lot of people, obviously, when I went to college, a lot of people saying come to the student union bar and that. So this is sort of stuff I was sitting thinking, I've not heard this before, never heard it, but there was a couple of good songs. Didn't admit it at the time, but a couple of decent songs. Then you've got Shoot You Down. So love the snare brushwork on the drum. Really trippy, great vocals on this. Again, very early, I'd say 60s influenced again. I think there's been a lot of samples. I think Elizabeth, My Dear sounded like, I think it's a Simon & Garfunkel song. Very, very much so. Then you've got This Is the One, another great strong song. One of my favourites, would have been a great album opener, but I still think that would be the main song for opening this album. This Is the One. Rennie's drum part again makes this for me. Big push at the end, really, really strong. Again, backing vocals on this are brilliant. So, I'm not going to ask the guys in the band if we're going to do a Stone Roses song, because then But it'd be interesting to try and see if we can do a little a remix or a different version, or a rockier version, alternative version for it. Then you've got I Am the Resurrection, probably the most iconic indie song in history, and I'll say that 100%. I definitely would agree with that. The drums are driving this song as well. John Squire, his guitar solo. There's different versions of this. The one I like is the long version. It sort of cuts out, and you've got Manny coming in his wee bass run, and it kicks in. So after the drumming, the guitar, and after that, it's like Hendrix. It's like so many different things, but unique. It's the Stone Roses. Definitely prefer the long version. But that's a review done. But what a song to end on. I'm the Resurrection. I always find in albums going back, like last 2-3 songs and beat side B were always a bit, they never really got listened to much. But yeah, it's going to get an 8 out of 10 for me. Brilliant album. It took me back to going to student bars when people were saying, what are you into goth for? Come to student stuff. But I could not bring myself to wear flares and a bucket hat. That is my review for today. But hope you all enjoyed it.
Great stuff, Rob, as always. Great album, one of my favourites, I've got to be honest. I love the Stone Roses. I loved, that indie scene. There were some great bands in Spiral Carpets, The Farm, the Happy Mondays, the Stone Roses, all in that kind of ilk. Some bands that were you know, one or two hit wonders. The Laws spring to mind, but it was a wonderful, wonderful generation. Even Carter, the Unstoppable Sex Machine. There was so many different bands around at that era. You know that us kids of the 70s who lived our, you know, our teenage and early 20s in the 90s were very, very lucky and very, very blessed. There was that wonderful Hacienda scene as well. So, Rob, thanks for taking us through that. Look forward to getting you on next week. And yes, we will knock up a new flyer. But, Rob, thanks very much, mate. Take care. Have a good weekend.
Enjoy your weekend. Cheers, mate. Bye now.